Hey there, if you like my videos, please like, subscribe, and put a comment down there. I love it. And also I wanted to say, this Creativity Collective is all about a community, and it is about creativity heals, which it really does. So, you're either in the state of creativity or survival. And I'm here all about to help help you along your road for inspiration and creativity. And that's what I really like to do. I've taught for 25 years. And, for me, I've taught mixed media, paper, journaling type of work. I've taught silversmithing, all types of fabric work, pieces like that, just general art I've taught originally, that's what I was trained in. And I found throughout the work, at the core, no matter what subject you're teaching, if you're open to be creative, you're gonna really be able to, first of all, be satisfied with yourself, and you're gonna be able to really be open to explore any techniques that you want to. So I just had a workshop in here this past week, and it was really, really exciting. It was really different. I feel like I'm doing a shift in the way I teach my workshops. I'm really insisting on having smaller groups of people so I can, as I teach techniques, I'm really working with people in developing your own body of work, which that's the part that feels amazing. It's like copying work that you see and that you love feels okay. I have a lot of people that come into my workshop and they feel like their brain is jumpy, in creativity. Like they want to do this and this and this. So the first thing that I like to talk about is really centering people and getting you to the core, so you will have the freedom, the confidence, the focus to really get into your own body of work and like what brings joy to you and what's going to make you happy. Anytime you're going the direction of, like something that you love, that's your passion. That's when you're going to be successful in your work. Passion equals magnetism, equals alignment, equals success. So it's pretty cool. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about, if you're putting putting a workshop together yourself. I have a lot of people that come in, and a lot of people have asked me these questions. I'm just going to go through a couple of them today, just a couple ideas, and then I could always focus more and more on it. If you guys like this, let me know. And what other angle of the subjects. Like I said, I've taught all different markets. I teach international markets. In fact, I have a workshop in India coming up. If you want to check it out, pop into the bio. I have one in Morocco coming up in 2025. Pop into the bio. And I teach little even one-day workshops, such as in Tucson this year. I don't know if I'm going to continue, but this year they're just little quick 6-hour ones. But in my workshop, I like to have people for 5 days. And one thing that I would like to say is when you're putting together a workshop, keep it as simple as possible. Simplicity is the key. In fact, that's always my mantra, right? Simplicity is the key. So what I mean by that is, like, when you write out your whole schedule of what you want to teach, now you're going to go through and bump out, like, say you've got 20 different, techniques or ideas that you want to teach. You bump that all back to maybe 3. So you want to start with about 3. If you have a 5-day, or if you have a 1-day, 3 small techniques. Even when I'm here talking, when I get on and talk through my videos, I'm always surprised at how much time information takes to get across, right? I'll give like 10 different key points, but I can go into each and every one of these key points that I give. I can go into them for an hour, so the same thing with when you're teaching your work. So you want to do a theme. You want to name your workshop one theme, even if it's 5 days. So starting with a theme. Mine this past week was symbolism in jewelry. So I could find a lot of different ways to bring in symbolism and have my students really think about how they're going to start with growing their own personal symbolism. So that was the theme. And then I'm showing them a number of different techniques on how to get at their own symbolism, and expression through wire, expression through a technique, expression through a hollow form, expression through gems, expression through armbands, expression through color and shape and your your type of silver work that you put around your work, expression through fiber and mixed media. Like, what are you saying with your work in all these different ways? So that's kind of the theme that I picked for mine. So that's number one. Simple, simple, simple. Number two is you want to, okay, so number two is, okay, here it is. Sorry, I got off track. Keep it small and focused, and then put in a lot of details. So when you start off your workshop, what I like to do is talk about the whole theme. First, I'll really introduce a subject matter. I talk about how it affects me in my life, and maybe, you know, how, what you can expect out of the workshop for the whole 5 days. And know that people that are coming to your workshop, they're matching your energy. So please feel free. That's number two. Please feel free to talk about what your real issues are. Because when you brought up your workshop and when you're selling your workshop, you are attracting to you the people who are on the same subject of where you're going with your work, you know, on different subject matters. So you want to make sure that you really teach from your heart. And when you teach a workshop, it's the same thing as when you're building your work. When you're up there teaching your work, you want to be shaking in your shoes because you're putting your real self out there to your students. You really want success for your students. And that brings me to number three. It's like, look, when your students come into your classroom, or you want to find a way to open them up creatively, how to get everyone relaxed, out of their fear, how can they connect with each other? You know, so it's always good to go around the room and just hear a little bit about each other, hear what they love, hear what their intentions are for this workshop. You want to maybe make sure that your students sit down and write their intentions out. And so this will help you once they get their intentions out, then they'll make sure they ask you the right questions, so it puts a lot of pressure off of you. So how do you get into helping your students to relax when they come in? You know, it's like just what I like to do is not, you know, to really kind of take down the boundaries. Like, you know, they're paying a certain amount of money, everybody has their own objectives. You set your rules, so you have really, really strong boundaries. Because once the boundaries and the rules are set, such as we're ending at 4 today, or we're ending at 5, we start at 10, this is what I need you to bring, this is what I need you to have, this is the direction we're going today. When you set up super strong boundaries like that, then everyone can relax more within these boundaries. So that really is the key to freedom for your students to be able to be inspired and create. Isn't that interesting? I learned that the hard way. It's like I just used to not have such strong boundaries, but I find the stronger my boundaries are, the better. And my family runs, your whole life runs, you know? So it's like the stronger your boundaries are in the classroom with rules set up, the more people can relax within the rules. And if someone tries to break the rules you make, you know, you have to stick with your rules, and you don't have to say it in a rude way, but you can say it in a kind way, you know, and then they can relax within it, know what the rules are, feel safe, and they can really open up to creativity stronger. Because you know what? Creativity heals. That's what I always say. Creativity heals. So, you know, it's really good that your students can be in there and be inspired. Also, another factor, number 3, is that you want to make sure that, you know, your students are, when you hear their intentions, make sure that your students are you're pushing them along the direction that they want to go. You know, I like to work, even if I have 20 people in a classroom, I like to go around and do a little bit of personal work with everyone, just to make, you know, give a little nudge or a little push that can help them grow exponentially. So that is really, really important. It's the details, details, details. If you're open to people doing their own work, you know, a little bit more so, going off in their own flair, you know, and just being a little bit guided by you. Yeah, so it's like, when you are, things to do if you don't, okay. So in your classroom, like when I start every day for the 5 days, like come in and make sure that the technique that you're talking about is covered. Sometimes I start, and when people know they can do their own work, they, you know, I'll just do the technique. And this actually is number 5, which is so important when you're teaching your workshop is I would have workshops back in my past, and maybe I would have 20 people again. I'm just saying 20 people. And they were all advanced goldsmiths. I've taught for the Goldsmith Society and brought really different kind of techniques in. So I would just assume, I used to come in and assume, okay, everyone here knows how to make a bezel. We're gonna move forward and do advanced work. Please know that even if you're doing advanced work, when you teach a workshop, you wanna come in and start from scratch on a project, even it's as simple as building a bezel, because the way that you offer to build a bezel is so different than any other person who's teaching the same subject matter. You know, you might look and say, oh my God, everybody's teaching this. You know, I'm not gonna show this, I'm gonna jump ahead. No, you will be able to offer even if it's slightly different. So if you're doing the work in your studio, remember I always say your work morphs into something completely different. And you know, when you get out of student work and get in there, you have your own tools, you have your own way you like to do your solder. So it's always important, even if your group are all goldsmiths and you're to teach a simple, you know, step one. You don't have to stay there long, and when people go back to their seats, they might blow through it really quickly, but you know, to teach where they are all the way back to the beginning and build on that, because this also gives people an opportunity just to grow themselves from these really simple techniques. The way to get to more of an advanced state and a creative state is to start with simplicity, which goes back to number 1 that I mentioned, right? Number 6 is, if you're having trouble thinking about what would be a great subject matter, of course, the best thing to do is always ask questions. Find out from your friends, from people, from your students, what they would like to get from you. Because sometimes, you know, we live within our bodies and our work always feels so normal to ourselves. So many times we don't even know that we have something really unusual and unique to offer the world. So this is such a good one to like get a really good subject matter, is to ask people what they like about your work. Make sure that you take notes when you do teach a workshop to see what people are loving, where they want to go, you know, with the next steps, you know, and also what they'd like to see you build. You know, that's always a great way to find the information. Number 7, this is really interesting. This is when I started working for larger corporations and out there, you know, not really personal workshops. When I used to work in Tucson, and I had a product called ice resin that I used to teach myself. And what I would do is, you know, what I found when I had ice resin, which was amazing. So this is a tip. It's like partnering with a product that matches your style. Whoo, how about that one? I know this because when I had my company Ice Resin, I would partner with teachers and give them a free supply, put their workshop on my website, which I had a really big mailing list. I had a big website. I had a lot of people who were using my products, including Michaels and Hobby Lobby and Joanne Fabric. So for me, it's like anyone who was out there teaching my product, oh my gosh, I was gonna give you as much support as you possibly can. So check out, you know, look at the type of materials that you're using. If you're using wires or sheet metal or gems, or, you know, for me, it's like I sell beautiful gems on my website. And if someone writes to me and says, hey, I want to use some of your gems in my workshop, or, you know, some of your, back in the day, some of my ice resin on there, I would put their workshop on, you know, and help them sell it, help them grow it, do anything I can. So getting a support system when you're teaching a workshop is amazing to do. You'd be surprised at how many people are there willing to open doors and help you teach, you know, when you're using any of their products or showing any of their tools or anything like that. So that's kind of like a real practical tip there. Ask and you shall receive. So I hope you guys like these just little tips on teaching a workshop, putting together your own. This is a really good step in learning. I find that when I am teaching, I learn just as much as my students from what they come in with. And also, it's like when you're on the teaching circuits, those are the education circuits that people love to connect with you. So, you know, when I was when I did a lot of teaching with my product, it's like I had a lot of editors that came and wanted to connect with me to write a book, do online workshops, do traveling and teaching different places, connecting with their whole online groups of teaching. So there's a lot of, a big community here to connect with once you make this decision. So this is a beautiful way to go. And let me know if you want to hear a little bit more. Please like, subscribe. This really does help me out if you subscribe or like, what you're watching. This does help me out, believe it or not, as an artist here. So I hope you like these tips and enjoy.